I walk alone along the deserted beach, my boots sinking into the wet sand. The afternoon sky is gray, covered by heavy clouds. The wind blows cold against my face. I carry my backpack with research equipment, checking the coastline for any signs of marine life. The waves break gently, a calm rhythm that fills the silence. I stop for a moment to observe the horizon. The sea stretches endless before me. I breathe deeply, filling my lungs with salt air. I notice dark rocks scattered ahead near the waterline. Something unusual catches my attention. A shape lies motionless on the sand, close to the rocks. I narrow my eyes, trying to identify it. My heart beats faster. I begin walking toward the shape. Each step brings more detail into view. I recognize the oval silhouette of a sea turtle. I quicken my pace immediately. The turtle does not move as I approach. I see green, dark netting wrapped tightly around its body. My stomach drops. A fishing net is tangled around the turtle's neck and right front flipper. The nylon cuts deep into the greenish skin. I kneel on the wet sand beside the exhausted animal. The turtle's dark eyes look directly at me. Its mouth opens slowly, gasping for air. The right flipper is pressed against the shell, trapped by the net. Red marks show where the net has been cutting for hours, maybe days. I drop my backpack and lean closer. The turtle does not flee. It cannot flee. It simply watches me, breathing slowly, waiting. I examine the net more closely, tracing the tangled nylon with my eyes. The damage is worse than I first thought. The net loops around the neck at least 4 times, tightening with every small movement. I reach for my diving knife strapped to my belt. The blade is sharp, but the net is pulled so tight against the skin. One wrong cut could slice into the turtle's flesh. I hesitate, my hand gripping the knife handle. The turtle shifts slightly, and I see fresh blood appear where the net digs deeper into the neck wound. Time is running out. I look around the empty beach for any sign of help. There is no one. The clouds above grow darker. The temperature drops. I feel the cold wind cutting through my shirt. The tide is beginning to rise. Small waves now reach closer to where the turtle lies. If I do not act soon, the water will cover the turtle's head. An exhausted sea turtle cannot lift itself to breathe. I calculate the time I have left. Maybe 30 minutes before the water becomes dangerous. The turtle's breathing grows weaker. Its dark eyes stay fixed on me, following my every movement. I cannot wait for help that will not come. I position myself carefully beside the animal. I place one hand gently on the shell to steady the turtle. The shell feels cold and rough beneath my palm. I bring the knife blade close to the first loop of net around the neck. My hand must be steady. There is no room for mistakes. I slide the knife blade carefully under the first loop of net. I hold my breath, keeping my hand perfectly still. With a slow, controlled motion, I cut through the nylon. The first loop snaps free. The turtle does not move, but I sense a slight release of tension in its body. I exhale and reposition the blade for the second loop. This one is tighter, buried deeper into the wounded skin. I work the blade tip gently beneath the nylon, creating space between net and flesh. I cut again. Another loop falls away. Blood flows more freely now from the open wound. I wipe my forehead with the back of my hand. 3 more loops remain around the neck. The tide continues rising. Cold water now touches my boots. I work faster but maintain precision. Each cut must be exact. The third loop releases, then the fourth. The turtle's breathing changes, becoming slightly deeper. One final loop holds the neck. This one has cut the deepest, embedded into swollen tissue. I use the knife tip to lift the nylon millimeter by millimeter. The turtle flinches. I pause, then continue. With one final careful cut, the last loop around the neck breaks free. The turtle lifts its head for the first time, but the work is not finished. The right flipper remains trapped against the shell. Multiple tangles of net bind it tightly. I shift my position to access the flipper. The water now covers my ankles. I begin cutting the net around the flipper, strand by strand. The net around the flipper is more tangled than I expected. Layers of nylon wrap over and under, knotted tight from the turtle's struggles. I cut one strand, and another pulls tighter. The water rises past my ankles now, reaching toward my calves. Cold seeps through my boots. The turtle grows restless, sensing the approaching water. It tries to move, but the trapped flipper holds it in place. The movement causes the remaining net to dig deeper into the flipper. I see fresh blood mixing with the seawater. I need to work faster. My fingers grow numb from the cold. I grip the knife harder. A wave washes over the turtle's shell, startling the animal. It thrashes suddenly. The knife slips from my wet hand and falls into the shallow water. My heart stops. I plunge my hands into the cold water, searching desperately. Seconds feel like hours. My fingers touch the handle. I grab the knife and return to the flipper. The water is rising faster now. Another wave reaches the turtle's head. The turtle stretches its neck upward, gasping. I cannot let this animal drown after coming so far. I cut frantically but carefully, removing strand after strand. The last thick knot holds the flipper prisoner. I saw back and forth with the blade. The nylon finally gives way. The flipper springs free. The turtle immediately pushes with all 4 flippers, dragging itself toward the open water. I watch the turtle move toward the sea with growing strength. Each push of its flippers is more powerful than the last. The water deepens around the animal as it crawls forward. I remain on my knees in the cold water, breathing heavily, my body exhausted. The turtle reaches the breaking waves. A wave lifts its shell gently, and the turtle floats for the first time. I feel tears forming in my eyes. The turtle swims a few meters, then stops. It turns its head back toward the shore. Its dark eyes find me across the water. We share a silent moment of connection. No words are needed between us. The turtle holds my gaze for several seconds. Then it turns back toward the open sea. I watch as the turtle swims deeper, its shell rising and falling with the waves. The movements grow stronger, more confident, more free. I slowly rise to my feet, water dripping from my clothes. My legs are numb from the cold, but I do not care. I walk to the edge of the water and stand there watching. The turtle becomes a small shape against the gray horizon. A final glimpse of the dark shell appears above a wave. Then the turtle disappears into the vast ocean. I stand alone on the empty beach as the last light fades from the sky. The wind blows cold against my wet skin, but inside my chest, warmth spreads through me. I saved a life today. I turn and walk slowly back across the sand, leaving only footprints behind.